Welcome back to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting, a podcast where me, Jason,
and me, Jennifer,
have a few drinks
and talk shit about our kids.
Excuse me, I was about to say follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Guide to Poor Parenting, but then my cocktail just came back up on me. Excuse me. Well, speaking of cocktails, what are we drinking, Miss Jennifer?
We are drinking Tom Collins's.
Tom Collins's. It's a fancy gin and tonic, basically.
Yep. And we're using Bombay Sapphire East Gin. And it's very herby and nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy.
We asked our guest what she wanted to drink, and she said gin and tonic. I was like, ooh, Zane's mom had talked about having a Tom Collins on her episode of the podcast. Let's see if I can pull up the recipe. It's like gin and tonic. There's a little lemon juice and some simple syrup, so what we thought was a good idea. All right, Miss Jennifer, how's it?
Well, actually, I was going to ask you how your week has been, because the last time I talked all about myself, and you didn't get to talk about your week.
There was something I want to talk about.
And you have more. Mine's just normal bullshit, same shit, different days. So let you talk about yours.
Well, the week's been okay work-wise, but I did have an interesting episode parenting-wise, not me parenting, at Target. I went to the Target in Jones Valley. And I pulled up, I dropped the kids off at school, so it was probably about 8:25 when I got to the Jones Valley Target. And I pull into a parking spot, and next to me is an SUV. And I look over, and is that little baby sitting in there alone? She was probably like 2, sitting in the driver's seat, just fiddling with buttons and whatnot. And so I was I was trying to be discreet without but looking into her car. But I got out and I circled my car a few times, and I was like being surreptitious, and no one else was in the car with her. So I was like, so I kind of waited a couple of minutes, and then I called non-emergency because I'm like, I don't know how long your mom has been in there, and this thing, like, it wasn't hot out. Even still, though, that just seemed super inappropriate. So
right.
I called, and they're like, can you stick around for the police to come? I was like, I've got a meeting at 9, so I can't. But I went into Target, and as soon as I was walking in, there was a white woman walking out with, I was like, you look like you did this, just because the way she was dressed and the way the little girl was dressed, I was like, I don't know. I was judging a book by its cover. I don't care. And she walked up straight to that car, and I was like, ugh. But then when I got out of the Target, there was a cop parked on the kind of behind me, in the row behind me, and I was like, because that's inappropriate. Your kid out in a car, especially that age. Yeah. Like if it was like 13 and they had fuck around, roll the windows down, and do whatever, maybe, but not. Yeah. Well, that's my week. Well, let's introduce our guest.
Yes.
So, you may know her. She was in WWE. She was a professional wrestler. No, you were hearing the dulcet tones of Catherine, my old neighbor. Zay and I moved to the current house about 2019, and Catherine was our across the street woman ever. She has a 21-year-old child now, and he's tall as hell too. He's like 6'8", something like that.
Oh, he's like 6.
Oh, I thought he was taller than me.
Maybe even 6'3".
Yeah. Okay. God bless that boy. He's got a deep voice.
Did he have fro too?
Yeah,
so
giant
the fro
fro
added like 4 inches. That's why he thought he was 6'8".
Exactly.
My brother's kind of the same way. Has big fro and
it's very long.
Okay, nice.
And a very artistic and very nice young man. Every time we interact with him, I was like, I like that kid.
Thank you.
It's such an old person thing to say. I like that kid.
I am an old person.
That's true, yes.
Well, Miss Catherine, how's your week been?
My week has been good. Always I like overschedule. I think that I don't have to do on Sunday. I realize I do. So yesterday it was kind of nice. I was posted, and she's like flaky, and so it's like the chances are one, because I've overcommitted and she's a little bit like antisocial. So and I'm redecorating out. Actually, I had 2 kids for.
What was the second one?
So I foster basically. I don't know if you were still.
It wasn't the one that yelled throughout. Was yelling that one night, was it?
Yeah. Probably he was a yeller.
I just remember you had this one kid who was like I think I was walking my dog, and I was coming back, and there was a young, back when Marin was probably like 16 or 17, and there was a kid on the sidewalk out front of your house screaming.
Yes. So that might not have been the same in a lot of Ed's scream. He came from a very difficult hood. And so what it was that he was one of my son's friends throughout high school. So Marin was a senior, so he was a senior. So it was first day of school, Marin's senior, and he said, hey, can Jace... And it's not a spend the night, it's the day of school, but it goes home together and but I knew that kid had coming a kid up from just being to the point where I had to walk away. Didn't like his and knew that he was pretty abusive. And so when Marion asked me if he could spend the night, I was like, sure. And so
now, is this a young man that lived in our neighborhood, old neighborhood? The one who was always like well dressed.
Oh,
no. Okay.
No.
There who would play drums or something with a horse mask on.
Love that kid.
In the middle of winter.
Just a gift. He would stand outside of your house like Bill Jackson. And like, I always felt like that was a gift. It's like this is some weird shit and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was always a treat. Okay.
Yeah,
so different kid.
He really was. So different kid, he lived in his parents had divorced. So basically he had the option to live with his father who was or his mother who her parents did.
Oh.
And so anyway it shook out, it was a problem. So he said, I just want to graduate high school. I can't do this to avoid getting to keep from provoking. Like I just can't. He only had one left, so I was like,
and there was no objection from crazy dad or.
They did it from that night for 2 months before either, and they knew where he was. And so hey, this is my contact, and also
You gotta be a fucked up parent. I cannot imagine letting Kalia spend like. Maybe one night if she was 17, I might be like, eh. But 2 months to not saying anything?
2 months. It was remarkable. Like, I didn't go to his house, with studs, and I had an extra bedroom, so I slept there and lived there. That whole was a struggle. It was a struggle because his brain was wired, or he had always in this like tumultuous hostile.
So he was always primed to fight.
Yeah, primed to fight. And of course, the people around you are like out to psychosis too. Just me and Mary, the bad guy. Just like there would be bad and angry at us. He would like stuff about us. He would talk shit to me. After a while, but in the beginning, it was great, and it was like we were long, and I would take vacation for a while. Anything I did and so it was really good. Like you could tell he was. Your house, he would talk about my house and how the things that I had in my house were like, instead of the stuff in his dad's house would be a goat skull, like that type of just hard on the psyche. Even just like, I try to make him very calm, but when they got so yelling on the wall. And this is a crazy my boys were seniors in 20, so like they were graduating, so COVID had just hit.
So they were probably stuck at home going crazy.
And we were all stuck in home. Then I was home, so I had to like set up a desk in my, so we're all in the house in this space. We used to be at school, and we're all like, and it just eventually got to be too much. Like everybody's like, I had just a miscarriage too. I was gonna have a baby.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
So it was like it was for the, and I just got my side, so maybe it's for me.
Was it difficult getting?
It was not. I was a little bit worried, like when they, and also I have a boyfriend, and I am scared with fire, like, so it's a male life pregnant if Joy's being sexual, and like whether contraception will fail, whether condom breaks, it's just all kinds. It's like even if you precautions, there's still this worry in the back of your mind, and I'm so fun. Like I cheers
to having your tubes tied.
Yes. Drink to that.
Yes.
I just keep hearing stories like on TikTok, and a friend of mine in Texas, she wanted to get her tubes tied and couldn't find GYN. I've heard of.
My doctor was good, but and I'm 43, and he just years ago and I had. But just to tie up the Jay story, he graduated from high school. We got kind of lucky because of the seniors there at his high school. They were like, "You're failing, but otherwise you're." That's and good. So both of my kids in circle. Like it was beautiful because he was the first child in
high school,
and he has 2 older brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, high school. Yeah, so his 2 other brothers we got him through. It was until
I was about to ask what the time, like the time schedule. I talk about like the time, the event of the times of like when you had to ask him to leave and the graduation. I'm glad he was able to like pull his shit together at least to get the graduation done and didn't fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. And he a little bit off said all this stuff to me. All this tried so just like all I wanted was for him to like get some intake. That's all I want. If it's all I want.
It's very common with foster kids. Like
I think it's trying to ruin it. Like he was the one that wanted, and he's never had that before. Especially if both the grandparents, the father, he didn't have anybody that was there for him. He's like, okay, this is too good to be true. Something's about to happen, so I'm gonna be an ass and I'm gonna ruin it. Because that's what always happens.
From all the foster families interact with the support groups, it's like pretty common. It's like you'll have, or they'll, or something you did that is not bad at all, but trigger him for some stupid reason. It's just like you just don't know their triggers when they're foster kids. Right. You don't know their trauma, so it's easy to trigger them.
And there's some traumas and so many.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you ever think about formally fostering children?
I did not. I'm honest.
Well, he's not technically a kid.
I'm really
he
not.
was.
Welcome to a guide to poor parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I had a kid because I got knocked up, but I wasn't good at all, and I loved it. My kid was just never get, hardly ever. It's remarkable. Like I really, because his father is wholly off the charts insane.
Well, why don't we talk about how you became a parent? Because so Marion is 20 now, is about to turn 21. So back in 2001, you were dating his father.
Yeah, we dated before he was trouble and he sold, but he had like really good weed, and that's what I was into back then. So Marin has the most ratchet origin story ever because I met his father, Czar, called Snake.
Hey.
Hell yeah.
Do you guys know Snake and Jake's?
Nope.
No, we just know the game. So.
Okay, well, Snake and Jake's is like where you go at 5 a.m.
When you want some PCP.
There's probably some. Well, you really can't get P on South End. From what I've learned from his dad, like that's usually but like a lot of coke going on there. Snake and Jake's is the type of place where if you take off your do it. No, like I don't know if they still do it.
Is it on Bourbon?
Do it.
Or is it like Marion?
No, it's uptown.
Uptown, okay.
It's uptown.
Were you living in New Orleans at the time?
I went to college at Lawrence.
Oh.
I graduated from Loyola. So I was in college. I was like 19. I lost my... And so this was back before... So this guy was like... And I was standing behind face because get off the... to put my keys to my car. And he noticed that I was like, oh. And so he asked me what was lost in my... I smoked 9. And so he had a pack of Newports and he like took out half of his pack of Newports and like put it on, which was gesture.
It is very much so as a smoker. That is a very romantic gesture.
It
yes.
really, it went along, and so
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, and he was very cute, and so like tall, also biracial, nice, because somebody just gets like your experience, aren't like each other. People always thinking you guys might know what your kids are or yours or whatever. That you
And a cool
nice
first name.
penis.
His Czar.
Czar.
No.
His name is Czarnik.
Czarnik, like all together?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
that's
okay.
hilarious.
Czar with a C at the beginning?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And so since my name is Catherine and his name is Czar, we're having a
That would be in line with what I know of you, Catherine. Yes.
But then,
You're called Rasp.
Yeah, Merritt and I still talk about make recipe because he's into it.
Oh, okay.
What is his middle name?
He does not middle name.
Oh,
His
okay.
father doesn't have.
Okay.
It's just Czar.
Czar Nicholas and Marin here.
Now, I have a question. It's like what happened if you had a girl? Would you her Asia?
That's a question. But if we had a girl, we would her Dave.
Oh, very cool.
That's steady. The deal was if it was a girl, I got named. So Czar also goes by C. It's like C. And so Rhode Island is always something, so it means C.
Oh, okay.
You know, like,
Yeah.
so he picked it. I like it, but I don't know any. It's a girl's name. Marin doesn't seem to.
It seems like a rich white hippie lady thing to do. But I love the name, and it suits him so perfectly because he's such a artistic, eccentric kid.
Off the charts, so I didn't worry so much. He didn't get grades, and I wasn't stressed that too. The stuff they were, but he always focused hard on the stuff he was into. His art, I could tell that he's intelligent, like more intelligent. So there was a sad moment. So, but yeah, I wasn't like a you gotta make type of Paul. It's like through this.
I have a friend of mine from San Antonio. We were talking on the phone. He doesn't have kids, but he's real close with his sister. 2 nephews. Nephew got accepted to Texas A&M, which is probably the second best or third best in Texas. Just pride hard, you could have gotten to it and yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, check your fucking privilege.
Yeah.
I was like, me and Feeds, our best friend, have a bunch of kids. These motherfuckers going to college. I'll be happy if they can goddamn graduate high school.
Yes.
It's like, I'm so sorry your nephew got into the third best college and and he's not like doing what you should have done.
Right.
So yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, especially this day, student loans, the situation where they are, right? I wouldn't. Marin went to trade school.
What did he?
For studio. So he's at Blackbird, his own music.
awesome.
So he can play guitar and.
Awesome.
But had I known, I would have asked him to be our producer or editor.
He might be too busy.
Yeah, he might be.
If you ever need he's good at that for my sister.
Awesome.
And they're damn good.
If we ever change the theme songs, we might. I found it when I started this app. I found a royalty-free place where it's like if you paid for artist, I paid for a royalty-free song. I didn't have to include credits or anything. We just hired a friend of ours editing the podcast too because I'm not very good at it. Like I'm very delayed on. Like we had a break in there.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I was
Stuff
like,
got for a while.
well, I
Well,
also
and-
had a hip replacement, and then I was like, I find the editing process so painful.
He doesn't like the sound of his voice. I don't like my voice. No one wants to listen
Why
to
are
it.
we like that?
I do not know. But then as soon as I hear my voice, I'm like that. Like,
What does
I
it
don't
sound
listen
like to
that.
you when you hear your
I
voice?
feel like I'm very high pitched and like not whiny, but like it doesn't sound how I hear mine.
What about you, Catherine? How does it sound?
Higher.
Every time I hear him, all I can hear is Southern prissy. Southern homosexual.
Only when you talk like that.
Oh, so were you and Zara together when Marin was born? Or were we all broken up? by
Were,
then?
but not from. We decided to move to Atlanta when I got pregnant
Yes.
and have a baby in New
What?
Orleans.
Why?
It's kind of a lot. I was just wild. College were wild from someone so that I could like not have. But actually, it wasn't that hard to stay away from cigarettes or to stay away from feel sick. So I was lucky to quit smoking. But
Do you still
then-
smoke? Oh.
I do.
You do? Okay.
I do, but not like I never picked it back up like a full smoke. I got pregnant after I breastfed but after like 7 weeks ish, then I started drinking wine again, and I should do when I'm drinking. And so now whenever I drink, very
Jennifer and I were smokers.
I'm still a smoker. I can say it.
Well, you don't smoke cigarettes. You smoke
Black and
Black and
Milds.
Milds, yeah.
I'm a cigar smoker.
But it's-
Cigarillo, because it's
yeah.
not really a cigar, but
But you also don't smoke, like,
no, we didn't.
unlike our child.
Now, if it gets legalized and work will let me smoke weed, then yes, Jennifer will do that. But I need to get my job, so
Yeah. But you and I both were cigarette smoking.
yeah.
I
And
think,
I was Newport for a long time, and then I started off with Cowboy Killers, Marble Reds. I was 11 years. I went to then Marble Smooths or Marble Milds, then Marble Smooths, and then I was like, I'm gonna vape because that became the big thing. And then I even got down to zero nicotine in my vape, and then I adopted Wesley and I started smoking. Because Black and Milds was when I was hanging and drinking. I was like, I'll just get some blacks and be okay because I won't smoke them every day. Every day now.
but you don't, like, take breaks at work to go.
No,
You
I
smoke
don't.
in the morning and maybe a little night, right?
At lunch.
Oh, do you?
and
Okay.
then-
I had to get off of I don't know. I started the fiber before, so I tried to quit altogether. So then I started smoking.
Yeah, I couldn't get away from I couldn't thaw after, and the fiberglass thing is, when I heard that, I don't know if it's true or
I
not or
don't know
whatever,
either.
but when I heard that, I was
It's
like,
asbestos.
yeah. And so many of my friends smoke Newports that I would run out of cigarettes because it was like, let me get one. Well, when I started smoking Marlboros, they were like, "What? Can I have a cigarette?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're Marlboros." Oh, never mind. I'll go find somebody else.
I take
And I was
so
like,
much pleasure in that.
yes, and I was like, okay, I can save my money because your dumbass be bumming off of me all the damn time.
Yeah.
And that's why I started going to Marbles.
My second girlfriend her mom smoked and showed me how to do it. And I started smoking Durals. Those are
Yeah,
that was the first
nasty.
Yes,
cigarette
they were-
I ever smoked.
They
They
are
were the
nasty.
cheap ones.
Yeah.
I would smoke them if I was hurting for money and didn't have
Wow.
cigarettes.
They were gross.
Yeah.
And then I started smoke for a while there. I smoked Misty Menthols 120s, the really cigarettes.
Very gay cigarettes.
And then it was like a Camel, it was like an orange pack, I don't remember what it was called, but and then I ended up with Parliaments. I only did the menthols for a little bit, but like my lungs are kind of sensitive, so it started, like, they would hurt if I smoked them too much. But like I had to quit smoking in my mid 20s because I would not, like, I would just be sitting there after, not smoking, but I couldn't feel like I could get a deep breath all the way to the bottom of my lungs, and it scared me so bad I stopped. And even still today, like, Zane and Jennifer were like, "Are you mad?" I'm like, "No, I'm just making air all the way down to my lungs." So I'll take these deep breaths and sigh, and they're like, "You okay?"
I just asked now if you're breathing. I was like, were you breathing? And he's like, "Yep." I'm like, "Okay."
Yep. Gotta make
That's
sure
just
still
my
there.
way of asking
Yep.
if you're okay, because it's. And I'm like, "Are you breathing? Are you mad? What's going on?"
Yep. I'm happy to let people know when I'm mad. I gotta check my lungs every now and then. So, okay, so you quit smoking. So this would have been like 2001.
When I was born in 2001. Because then after I graduated, and so then I got pregnant. I told Czar that I was considered afraid of. And I was like, I'm afraid that you're always going to be like a drug deal, like a crazy life. And
a legitimate concern.
And then I'm going to be raising this kid by myself is how it's going to end up happening. And I knew that. I knew that me was too much. I just wasn't on the same. And so we tried to make it work we decided to move because I have things for both of us to chill out. And it only lasts about 10. We tried to move up to New York to fought all the time. He luckily like within work and deposit me. So I was by myself. But if he had been there with us, we would have just holding me like trying to kick him, make me so mad, like trying to throw a punch like while Marion was in the crib. He provoked and just loved to. He broke one of my.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a body part.
I'm
so glad you said painting.
No, he knew I loved this painting. It made me so angry because my friend Scott painted it, and Scott painted Dick's, but it's very subtle, very tasteful. You can't
Tasteful
really tell.
penises.
It's like dudes, like the scene is a gay bar, me and Scott. So I had to help Scott move. Didn't have any way to pay me a deal, and he's an art student, so giving us stuff. So
yeah.
So because it was like very homoerotic, Zarden, my favorite piece, but we got enough. I was like, that's I love. And so, and it was loud. And it was cool. Like, honestly, we were pretty amicable for the most part. He would, like, hurt me sometimes. And sometimes you're keeping that kid away. Shit. You can come here and visit if you want. Like, I'm just raising our child, like you. And he didn't even sign my birth certificate.
It was like your incompetence is keeping you.
Exactly. Like, if you were doing him away from your. So, but he would still pay up until. And because he made a lot of money, draw to him.
But it was all, like, drug money.
It was all drug.
So, the state wasn't going to dip it. It was going to garnish
that.
Going
to dip it. He was underground. He already had warrants out his arrest, so he wasn't like I couldn't. But he still paid it, and he paid it in the system until Katrina. I had moved back to New York. I wanted to
in Huntsville.
In Huntsville,
okay.
Yeah, because living in it, moved up to Rhode Island, then moved back and stayed. That was July of 2005 when Aaron was 3. He was there. His father was there. It'd be like so much easier to support. So me and lost everything. There was like 6. But we had so much, but Czar was not. Czar ended up, losing all the connection, going up to New York, and that's when PCP already, so that's when the child support, every now and then they talk sometimes still, but like sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's, I wish his son, sometimes they'll talk and a piece of paper like, hoes be like weird animals, Mariel, right? Like weird animals and please, like all these bitches out here, all these bitches except for your mother, all chicken hits you, like that type of stuff. Like,
what the hell does that mean?
So more talking like to his son like a friend than like his son.
Yes. Yeah.
What did your parents think of Czar in the whole situation?
Nobody liked Czar. Nobody who liked me liked Czar. Everybody knew.
What does Marin think of Czar?
Marin has a good sense about it. We can laugh about it. Sometimes we quote him. One of the last times, he kind of jokes about it. Like there was one card and it said, "Why don't?"
Oh.
And it was, but at the same time, it was like, all right, now we're about to joke about this. So once I had come over, once he was sleeping, we went into the house and we woke him up, and he was like, "Hey, son, we're gonna play some catch, and I'm your new dad." Like, you wanted the dad, right? And so I like pranked him back, and it was, he just asked me recently, my son, about he could start therapy. Therapy would be good.
Definitely.
Yeah, for all of us.
Well, I mean, especially for a 20-year-old biracial child.
Yeah,
I mean that is
because straight man at that too.
Right, especially with I guess the black side, there is such a stigma when it comes to therapy that is so awesome that he actually just came to you and not even, hey, how about this?
Right.
And he's like, I want to do that. That's awesome. Yeah. I had Wesley in therapy at 8 years old, so he can't say nothing.
It's great for everyone, and he doesn't identify as straight.
I didn't know that.
His tagline is Instagram. Biracial, bisexual.
That is an awesome
Very cool. Is he up in Nashville right now? Or is he?
He is in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good for him.
And so when he turns 21, a lot of opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
So he's for a little Nashville.
Yeah, definitely. It might not be the best genre of music. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it will definitely, he can put his, his foot in the door.
People,
yeah, definitely. And if you get into like one of the, not like Ryman, but like one of the, like the here, and be able, or just find some people on the street. You want to be an artist? I can do a song for you. Pay me money. Here we go.
And even like you were saying, you found some website. He upload. They probably get paid that somehow.
That's right.
I think what the guy that I bought it from, I think what he had was sheet music that had the copyright had expired, and he re-recorded it, and I think that's what he did because a lot of it just sounds like Because it's like the music we chose was kind of old sounding. So like,
Some of it was carnival sounding
Yeah.
and like.
it sounds vaguely vaudevillian.
Yeah,
almost.
vaudevillian is
I
a
like
really
that.
good word. Yeah.
That's a good
So
Yeah. There was a lot of weird, like we were going through it, like nope,
yeah.
like and like boom, 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 like really bass and like that's not it. I don't. That's gonna work.
I'm
But
pretty
we
happy
won't.
with ones we got. But
I do. I like it.
yeah. But yeah, that would be a great opportunity. I'd be probably a steady stream of income too for Marion if we ever did it.
Well, and other people, I mean, I watch a lot of different crafter videos
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
If that just gets his foot in the
do
door.
some TikToks.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's working for, called me or we were talking with, the manager was Alfredo, and he was like, Alfredo put his notice. I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, yeah, it was because Alfredo was made a go by Mary. And now I'm going to be the only sauce guy. But that's
Yeah,
how he's like paying his rent mostly. I'm subsidizing it still, but he's paying his rent.
That's awesome.
He wants to do a show here around Christmas time. I want to say it's the 17th.
Where at?
It might be like off of Moore's at a place called E-Labs, but I will know.
Okay. If you give me the info, I'll post it to our TikTok, or not. Wish we had a TikTok, to our Instagram or whatever, our Twitter. I started tweeting recently, but with everything going on with Twitter, I was like, if it still exists in a month.
Well, that and then this podcast airs in December.
That's true. So if yeah, this probably won't. By the time this airs, it'll probably be next year because we still have 3 episodes from last season.
He loves Christmas, and it's funny. He is, and one of the most awesome poor or amazing that's ever. When John was in his residency in Vegas, in Vegas, and my son are both big, so they went together to Vegas, and they had match shirts made.
Aww.
And my mom said, "Bitch is back," and then Marin said, "I'm with a bitch" on the front, and then the back said, "She's my grandma."
Oh, that is adorable.
I want to be a grandma like that.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, not for many years, but I want to be a grandma like that.
Did you ever have? We were talking about this the other day with Jennifer about as Wesley is like constantly like having girlfriends and whatnot. Did you ever have any pregnancy scares with Marion?
No, I did talk to. I was with a girl for a while who we discussed. I think I even kept some just in case and everything about it. Is that okay?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, like you want some. I got some. That was well before. I mean, it's because Marin and his girlfriend were together. It could happen.
Yeah, we were talking about getting out west, or we were telling Jennifer they have a new injectable male birth control called Vasogel.
Oh.
Goes in the Van Steffens and does something to the sperm cells so they get destroyed if they come out. So it lasts 10 years if I heard right.
Oh.
And it's easily reversible.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So I was like, man, I don't know if they do it to a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old, but
As soon as the doctor's ready.
Yeah.
I don't want
yeah.
I am not a young. I want him to be able to live, have his not having. I mean, I was an accident. A lot of people are accidents. That's fine, but I want him to have a little bit of time because I just want him to graduate high school. That's like my goal.
Yeah.
I just want you to just graduate. That's it. That's it.
We're not asking for too
No,
much.
and then if you want to go to trade school, if you want to join the military, if you want to, he wants to be a rapper, but I'm trying to tell him, what if that doesn't happen?
You can be a rapper. What else?
Right. I need you to have a backup.
Yeah, you need you'll be able to support yourself while you're pursuing that rap career.
Right. Well, and last night, I think it finally told us in the car on the way back from Zane. I think he said, "You're my friend." And then he said, "I'm going to buy a mansion if I'm a rapper." And that he's like, my mama said that, if I'm a rapper. And I was like, oh, at least it's that. He got the if, not when. And then he said that he was going to buy a mansion and that we were all going to live in the mansion. But then we all had to have guns, and we were like, yeah, we decline. We're good. We don't need guns. And then he was, well, we'll talk about it. It's fine, kind of thing. So, I mean, he's 11, so he really doesn't know. But when he said if, I was like, because I want him to have, I mean, yes, I would love for his dreams to come true. But there's so many rappers out there that never went anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like ball players.
So
you
many
have,
musicians.
thousands of ball players trying for one spot. And rappers same way, or musicians like you said. So I don't want him to put all his eggs in one basket and to have a fallback.
Well,
my
I think
friend in Nashville into all her driving Uber or Lyft.
that's true. Well, I think too with Wesley, I think the appeal with the rapping is
Yes.
you just throw out some lyrics and you're good to go. But
Yeah.
it's if he was the type of kid who's had a notebook and was constantly writing down lyrics and agonized over, like Marin was with his drawing, or even Kalia does with her sketches.
Yeah.
I'd be like, maybe that is, but like he just was just farting around. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, I want to win the. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, seriously. Oh man. Oh, I was gonna say, when we're talking about Wesley getting the injection for the contraceptive, like when Kalia hits high school, it was like you were getting.
Hell yeah.
I was like, I am not gonna be a great grandpa at 50. And her mom, luckily Kiki agrees with it, so I'm not worried about it. I need to have a baby early on.
And it was the pill that affects you for a while.
What's that?
It's like this. It's like basically spermicide. Like
Is it
inject up in you.
Yeah.
Like I just where it's like.
Your imagination ran wild on that one.
It's like, I don't know.
Oh, I've been on forever. I didn't know there was I haven't had one yet, and I got to.
That might be what the high blood pressure doctor noticed the other day.
No, that was just because it was 7:00 in the morning, and I wanted my coffee, and I don't like to get my blood pressure taken, so I get stressed, and then it goes up.
I mean, another one.
It's true.
I mean, there are elevated stroke. You gotta wait.
What birth control did your mom? It was always pill, and then you went to New
Always the pill. I did the. But you know what the thing is about the dryer? And so I didn't realize that at first. I didn't put two and two together. It was starting, and then it was. I have a friend from France who I like dryer. That's fucking it. It's not just being in my 30s. Like, and totally like that was totally it.
Your vagina's drying up.
So that was what was really cool. I mean, I just remember having that aha moment. It's like that is what is happening to my vagina. I got to take the plastic out of it. But then, so that is exactly what happened at your last Christmas party when I accidentally brought lube. Because it was supposed to be, I accidentally brought lube because it was supposed to be a liquor gift exchange, but I never an invitation that he sent. So you
just saw an L, and you thought
I brought lube
liquor. There you
but
go.
then, so there was a party guest who wanted the lube, and then when we were talking about birth control, and she said, and I said, that is why you're experiencing what she already had said she was experiencing lube, and I could see her have that aha moment. I saw that her face, like the same time that I was like, oh, that's what's fucking doing it. So that's why I said, even though I fucked up the Dirty Santa, I think it might have changed.
There you go.
Oh no, it was perfect. Well, because we used to do Dirty Santa with it was like either sex related or booze, but it was I don't know some of the sex stuff was
that was janky. Like
some people brought some like real cheap like S&M stuff or
plastic
or jokey
or
things.
the world's biggest butt plug.
Yeah.
So this brings me to the story question of parenting, the most objectionable.
Well, before we get to that, let's transition. So. Before we get to snack time and story time, so if you, for all 4 of our listeners out there,
hi Mom.
If you have any funny stories about your kids,
or if you need some bad parenting advice,
email us at guidetopoorparenting@gmail.com. Jennifer, what have you for snack? Trying to surreptitiously eat and not chew into the microphone.
Well, we didn't get anything too crunchy, but I wanted you to have some bread because we were having the Tom Collins. And yep, so we have baguettes with goat cheese.
And it's
like a raspberry.
I don't know. You bought it.
I did, but I didn't read it. And then we have Prosecco and vodka soaked grapes rolled in sugar.
Yeah.
You cannot taste the alcohol.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, it's probably a bad thing, but I love it. It's really good.
I saw a thing on TikTok. There's this there's a late, probably like grandmother. She's like maybe 60, 70 years old, but she has this thing. I think hers like baking with Babs or something like that. And she's like, oh, these are great party things. And she soaked some grapes and Prosecco and vodka and then coated them in sugar. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. And then Jennifer, while we were at the grocery store earlier today, Jennifer's like, you better get some bread because your drunk ass will be sloppy. Because this is more for our dedicated listeners. They know this, but Catherine probably doesn't know. But when we first started the podcast, the first time we did it with 3 episodes in a row. And by the 3rd one, I was shitty drunk.
Yes.
I wasn't throwing up, but I was very drunk.
You were very, what was I going to say?
Happy.
And, that's not good for the podcast. So I was like, get some bread, soak it up. And we had mimosas with brunch this one, so, I wanted to make it was able to speak by the end of it.
Able to stand. All right, well, now that we've had our snack, Ms. Catherine, do you have a story for us about your bad parent?
After
19.
Okay, so
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so me and my sister, we were out back. A kid. Oh.
Yeah, just a little closer to your mouth. Sorry.
My kid, I was like, I really want Marin, think I'm gonna be scary. I'm like such a chill, gentle. He's so soft, like has never had to fight or like defend himself at all. Like, let's go kick that kid's ass. But not for real. Not for real. You know, like not
You just wanted to scare him a little.
Not hurt, just scare him a little bit. So me and my drunk ass sister barge into his room. He's on the phone with his friend. Grab his phone, call his friend pussy, and throw his phone out. My sister throws. I don't remember which one of us threw the butt plug at him, actually. Like we threw the butt plug at him, which he took and gave girlfriends. So,
Aww. As a gentleman.
And my sister kind of like roughed him up a little bit, and he did fight back. He like also like threw some punches, but it wasn't really fighting. It was playing. It was like kind of slap boxing. And then he like, and so I was dating this guy at the.
Was it the long-haired DJ dude?
No, that was the guy after that. This was kind of, but he when we were breaking up, he called me.
Ooh.
Which is funny because it's like, you know, you could say that for a few different reasons, but that was his reason, because the one time after your party that I like started shit with my kid. But it really wasn't. I asked Mary and I was like, you weren't scared. I thought it was funny. He did think it was funny. He was like, yeah, it was funny.
That is something I would totally do with Kalia when she's 18.
I would so do that with Wesley.
Yeah, I would like go grab a giant butt plug and throw it at Kalia. Like, yeah, that's so. I would do that with my little brothers now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Fuck that dude.
Well, I'm glad he was brief and he was not very long boyfriend.
Yeah, we dated for maybe about 6 months, and a few months into that, and then didn't have it.
And
yeah, and so he said to me one day, he was like, let's get some.
What?
And I was like, you don't have a job. Like, you're trying to spend my money on cocaine right now. And so I knew.
Better start that OnlyFans. Let's get some money.
That's right.
Okay. God. An odd request.
It was an odd request.
Let me use your money and buy me some cocaine.
Yeah,
Thank you.
The worst.
That sounds like my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so soon after that, I started dating.
Whatever happened to him?
Well, right now I'm actually out of town.
Oh, he's the one you're babysitting his daughter.
He's in New York with like whoever he's dating now at some point, and so like I babysit for his out of town. I love his. She's 13, and I don't like kids that much. Little scare kids. But like once they become a little bit old, when I like,
right.
But she and I have always had a good relationship. So I really appreciate still spend and check in, and we just both bit her dad the whole time. Like,
where's the mom?
The mom abandoned her basically. Colorado. She was always like, I am guessing on.
Lovely.
And both her mom and her dad are partiers. When they were younger, they were together. They were partying. Like fell into them. He was the most responsive. Sad, to be honest.
Yeah, I was about to say, if he's leaving his 13-year-old daughter with his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, but I mean, like he knows that she and I want, but it's kind of weird, like just being a step. Like last night, birthday party, and somebody was like, "Who is this? Your kid?" And it's like, we need a better term for our relationship than that.
Yep.
Because even when he and I were together, we were a lot. Because he is also a he too, and so
like them bad boys, huh?
Yeah, for real. And so it was still like uncertain. Sometimes we didn't even hanging out. Like, so people would ask like, "Who is that?" to her, and she'd be like, my dad's friend. It's like kind of hard to put your. So, but she and we've established our own, and she's my little homie. Usually I just.
I should tell people Big Brother's beers and she's your older.
That's a good idea. Well, she and I would talk about it, and we're like, sorry they asked.
It's like, I'm her grandmother. Her mother died. Something really tragic.
Her mother was my conjoined, and we actually had to live.
She died. That's tragic. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Catherine, thank you so much for coming. We have missed you so much. I've missed being across the street from you.
I miss you guys so much.
Is it college kids? It looks like college kids.
I think they're renting it out, so it'll be like a cast of characters, but just and as hell. They look like. I feel like I saw a guy with like a thin blue long t-shirt, and I was like, ugh. Not in my backyard.
Oh, Lord.
It's a cab around here.
Hell yeah. I love that neighborhood. I do miss it a lot, but that house was so teeny tiny.
Yeah.
So, especially when we were talking about getting Kalia, I was like, I'm going to work. We're going to have a little girl in that tiny little house.
Oh my God, and then COVID, when I was just stuck at home all the time. It would have been.
Ditto. Well, thank you for coming, and thanks for all our 4 listeners. We've really appreciated you listening, and Miss Catherine for coming. So thanks for listening to A Guide to Poor Parenting.
If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
And if you don't like our podcast, just like when we tell just like when our kids complain about us not letting them wear shorts when it's 40 degrees out.
Tough shit.
That's right, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.